Hey, folks, how you doing? This is American Liberty Radio Network, AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. As soon as I get the phlegmy stuff out, I'll be okay. Yeah, folks, it's one of those things, folks, you know, it's just, you have a lot going on in your life, and you chose to listen to me. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Now, so many things are going on. We have this Charlie Gard thing, and this, he's sick, and the UK government is not allowing his, to give the parents, the child. The hospital is refusing to give the child back to the parents because they're afraid that, oh my God, they're going to run off to America and get experimental treatments or get treatments that are going to save the kid's life. So we have that. We have California failing miserably. I mean, should I say failing? How about failed miserably? They are now a communist state. They are what they are. And you just have all sorts of garbage going on. I'm at my wit's end. I don't know what to say anymore. Okay? I'm the 11th of July today, 2017, Steve Watson writes, CNN reset its app to clear fake news reviews. Hours later, they have thousands more negative reviews. Following the drubbing CNN received over the doxing threats toward the Reddit user who created the Trump CNN WWE meme, CNN News app was targeted by thousands of negative reviews last week, leaving it floundering with 1-star rating in the App Store, Apple App Store. Oh, yeah. It's all right there, folks. Overnight, those reviews disappeared as the network seemingly deleted and reset the app, causing it to display the message, "We have not received enough ratings to display an average for current version of this application." Right? Yeah, CNN has continued its war with the Trump administration this week, focusing on the latest claims that Donald Trump Jr. met with a Kremlin-linked lawyer. Almost the entirety of CNN Tonight with Don Lemon was devoted to the story, with talking heads and hosts pushing the angle and taking pot shots at Trump Jr. and the president. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to make this very, very clear. CNN is done. It's just not because I say so. No. But because their credibility has been shot for quite a while, and this just took them over the edge. This whole thing with Donald Trump, with the anti-Trump, people at CNN and all of that. This, him being in office and being elected just pushed it over the edge. CNN is done. Okay. Their credibility is gone. Their credibility is shot. Always has been for quite a long time. But like I said, since the election of Donald J. Trump and his current presidency, yeah, it's done. I can't say much more than that because you guys already know. Now, I want to also say this in defense of the core group of journalists who tell the truth, who get the information out there and get it right, actually. In defense of those, I will say this. You people need to step up your game and do what needs to be done. Okay? That's just the way it is. Don Lyman, Infowars.com, 11th of July, 2017. Gert Wilders introduces legislation to arrest jihadis before they kill. Thousands of known Islamic radicals roaming free in Europe. Dutch politician Geert Wilders has introduced legislation to empower security services in the Netherlands to arrest and detain potential terrorists before they commit violent acts of jihad. Want to talk about ultimate profiling? The avid anti-Islam watchdog delivered a statement accompanying his proposal during a parliamentary debate on combating terrorism. With Prime Minister Mark Rutte, whose majority party lost ground to Wilders' Party for Freedom in recent elections. Now, likely due, this is what the article is saying, likely due in part to Rutte's weak stance on the crisis of Islamic migration and terrorism facing much of Europe. This is the Prime Minister. Okay. I want you to just seriously hold on to this thought. I'm going to read that paragraph again because I want you to see two things here that I just noticed. It says here, avid anti-Islam watchdog delivered a statement accompanying his proposal during a parliamentary debate on combating terrorism with Prime Minister Mark Rutte, whose majority party lost ground to Wilders' Party for Freedom in recent elections, likely due in part to Rutte's weak stance on the crisis of Islamic migration and terrorism facing much of Europe. So here's a man standing up, Dutch politician Geert Wilders, saying, we have to stop this. I'm going to propose this. That's one thing I noticed. He's standing up and saying this. We want to do this. The reason why the Netherlands is being overrun by Muslim jihadists and radical, jihadists and criminals like that is because of, as it says here, likely due in part. In part, what part is that? To Rutte's weak stance on the crisis of Islamic migration and terrorism facing much of Europe. If this guy is so weak on combating terrorism and Islamic migration into the Netherlands, what is he doing as prime minister? You know what I'm saying? There's a video there. I'll put this up on American Liberty Radio podcast. I just, I don't get it. I don't get it. If a leader of a country is so weak on his stance, like Prime Minister is of the Netherlands, then why is he a leader? Should he not be protecting the country? Is that not his role, to make sure that the country that he's representing is protected from the enemies who want to take him out? Okay? Seriously. Why? I mean, you guys figure it out. You guys figure it out because, Here's the Democrats. I'm going to put this up on American Liberty Radio podcast. Not only are the Democrats still pushing the fake Russian collusion lie, now they're trying to push the idea that InfoWars, Drudge, and Breitbart are criminal organizations. The Alex Jones Show, 11th of July, 2017. That's today. So if you saw that in the first hour of his show, yeah. They want the Democrats pretty much. I'm not even going to call them the Democrats anymore. They are them and the Republican fascists are the Progressive Party. So I'm just going to call them that. The Progressive Party of America. The oppressive Party of America. Want to end your free speech. I can't say any more than that because that's exactly what they want to do. Colorado voters deregistering before rolls turned over to Election Integrity Commission. What are the Dems trying to hide? I'll let you guys go read that. I'll put that on American Liberty Radio podcast. David Knight, Infowars.com, is reporting on that. The Progressive Party literally wants to shut down everything that is promoting peace, freedom, liberty, and security, including free speech and the right to trial and all of that. They're even in the courtroom. You want to see the massive you want to see the massive problem on the Democratic Party side within the courtroom? It's a huge problem. You just go to for some reason this is not working. I'm trying to post that Colorado voters deregistering before rolls turned over to the election committee. Let's see if it goes. Nope. It won't, so I got to shut down the browser for some reason. But if you want to see the prime example of what the Democrats are doing to shut down our freedom of speech, to shut down the courts for the sake of their own agenda. And when I say shut down the courts, I'm literally meaning shut down patriots who are in the courtroom who are fighting for freedom of speech and all of that. You want to see the prime example of that? Go look in Clark County, because there's stuff going on there that is just, yeah. If you want to know more, I can tell you, but I've got some other things to do. Go find the Facebook page of Deb Jordan. Deb Jordan. Go look at her. Tell her I sent you. And she'll tell you exactly what's going on. Detail after detail, photo after photo. Yeah, Deb Jordan. Okay. I'm telling you, man. The Democrats want to shut down every single patriot movement, every single freedom movement, everything that there is, because they have an agenda, and that agenda is pretty much following the political philosophy of Marxism, and they're going to use the tactics of Saul Alinsky to do it. That's the Progressive Party, folks, both sides of the aisle. Democratic Socialist and the Republican Fascist. Yeah. And I just don't, I'm like I said, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I do not know what else to say. Honestly. I find it incredibly odd that people would believe the Democrats anyway. I do believe that. Okay? And here's more of the bullcrap coming out of the Progressive Party. The party of, well, it's not the Democratic Party of your grandparents, I can tell you that much. And it's not. A little behind the scenes story here. My mom and dad were hardcore Democrats. Hardcore. I mean, it didn't take them long to realize after Reagan that things were not the way they wanted in the Democratic Party. So they started voting across party lines and seriously had, developed a huge, well, I shouldn't say a huge, I'll say a keen sense of understanding of what their party was like and what their party was. Okay. The thing is that I kept telling them, I said, your party is failing you. And this is after Reagan. This is like Clinton era. And I said, your party is failing you. What, why are you, why are you still following these people? And it got down to the point where it was like, it got to the point where it was like they began to see what was going on. I did not, myself personally, I did not register to vote until I was about 29. I didn't register to vote until about then because I knew from high school, from all my research, from everything that I was researching at the time, from high school on up to that point for about 10 years, 11 years, I knew what the problem was. I knew what the problem was. I knew it. And I knew that it wasn't good. It was not good at all. And so when I looked at what was going on and what the Democratic Party was, and I registered because my folks were Democrat. I registered as a Democrat. When I began to really do the research on the party itself, holy crap. Holy crap. I cannot tell you what, I can go into detail and tell you what I found, but my God, I'll take up the rest of the hour. You know what I mean? So about 4 years after that, I registered as a Republican. I did the same thing. I looked into, well, why didn't I look into it before registering, right? So I looked into the Republican Party and I began to see the flaws and the faults and all of that. And I began to see a huge problem within this whole system of government. At that time, I was in my early 30s. And I thought, by the time I was 35 years old, I had, quit following the parties. I got done with all of that, and I began to see that the parties itself, both Republican and Democrat, and, the fringe parties out there as well, it was all a sham. It was just all a sham. It just, all a sham. It just, you cannot ignore it. It's all a freaking sham. That's all there is to this. This government that, touts freedom and liberty and all this. I mean, this is from their side of the aisle. This is from Washington, D.C. specifically. How they want changes and all this and all the machinations going on behind the scenes and what we don't know what's going on in Washington, D.C. and what our legislators are doing. Even in the states, we don't know what's going on. They tout it. They say, yeah, this is what we want to do and all that, right? It's all a sham, folks. It's all a big sham. Paid protesters get off bus, go to protest. Caught on tape. Alex Jones, Infowars.com. Go check that out. It's on American Liberty Radio Podcast. on Facebook. I just, what do you do, folks? When you see the sham happening right out in front of your face, what do you do? What do you do? I mean, seriously. You can't, I just... It's like knowing... It's like watching a magician but knowing all the tricks and knowing how they're done. I mean, it's seriously like that. And to me, knowing how it's done is kind of the fun thing, to know. It is. Because as we know how things are working, as we, of course, magicians, they want to keep the secrets and, support the mystery, right? With politicians, once you know how things are going and how they operate and what's going on, you're done. You see what is happening. It's there. There's no hiding it. There's no mystery. It's there. In your face. And my whole point of this whole rant and my little backstory there was we need to examine what is going on to see the sham. We need to do what we can to reveal all of this to everybody and say we don't live in the United States of America our founding fathers had created for us. And it began to fail around the time of 1871 when President Ulysses S. Grant signed the Act of 1871. It began to fail at that point. It took a long time for all of the scams and the shams and the charlatans in politics to come out and to be found out and to be, thrown out. And it took a very long time for everyone to realize, or most people to realize, that voting was a complete and utter waste of time. I mean, do I have any faith in the government in Washington, D.C.? Hell no. I have faith in the people. I support the people's right to have and do what they want and to follow their conscience wherever it leads them. I support people in entrepreneurial endeavors. But as far as state government goes and federal government goes, your state legislators and all of the rules and regulations, policies and ordinances and blah, 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 blah. Go down the list. Or federal, Washington, D.C., all of that. No, I have absolutely no faith in this government at all. None whatsoever. 3 things they need to stay out of. Number 1, my business. Number 2, healthcare. And number 3, they need to stay out of creating war and battles within not only the U.S. but around the world. They need to stop all that. Is it ever going to stop? Probably not. Well, if we didn't have regulations in business and people would be ripping everybody off. There's common sense regulations that work, and you can go through your city ordinances and city laws and state laws to find those that work. Okay? We understand that. We know this. It's there. Okay? But the fact of the matter is that there's laws and rules and regulations and over-regulations that just stifle the growth of individuals to create something better, to create something that is worth supporting. And this is your state legislature at work. Okay? You want to see the failings in overburdened regulations? I point my finger to two states on opposite sides of the country, California and New York. There you go. That's what happens when you overregulate individuals. Okay? I'm not saying don't regulate. What I'm saying is common sense legislation to give the support to the people to do what they need to do to support the state, to support their cities, to support themselves, yada, yada, yada. Those common sense things are there. They're there. They should be. But to sit there and to create burdensome regulations, such as, the things out of Washington, D.C., to create all of that, it's just, I don't know what to tell you, folks. The whole system is a complete and utter sham. All of it. All of it. I'm not kidding you. It is, when you look at the very core of what's happening and how it's structured, it's all a sham. Trump administration halts Obama loophole for foreign nationals. John Binder over at Breitbart.com. 11th of July 2017. An Obama created loophole for foreign nationals wanting to come to the United States to start a business has been halted for at least a year by the Trump administration. The international entrepreneurial rule was put in place 2 years ago by then President Obama through executive order, essentially creating a new visa program. For foreign nationals without approving it by Congress. Instead of coming to the U.S. on an employer-sponsored visa, such as a green card or H-1B visa, foreign nationals wanting to start business were given leave to remain in the country for at least 2.5 years. In an order by the Department of Homeland Security Secretary John Kelly announced that the program would be stopped for at least March of next year. Though the small program has received little attention in the legacy media, immigration hawks say the move by the Trump administration is welcome news. In 2016, the Federation of American Immigration Reform, which advocates for more conservative immigration, said the Obama rule was not in the interest of Americans. There you go. I highlighted a lot of stuff there, so I'm going to put this on American Liberty Radio Podcast on Facebook, so you can go check out the rest of that. There's a lot of quotes in there I didn't give you, so, check that out. So, yeah. So, I mean, seriously? Let's go to the KremlinRunRT.com and see what they're saying. Inane nonsense. Trump Jr. releases Russian lawyer meeting emails. Yeah, I'm not going to put that up. You guys know more about that than I do, probably. DNC coordinated with Ukraine, White House says, amid Trump-Russia collusion claim. What? Let's take a look at that. This is at RT.com, 11th of July, 2017. As Russian collusion accusations continue to surround the Trump administration, White House Deputy Press Secretary Sarah Sanders said the Democratic National Committee is actually the guilty party because it coordinated with Ukraine. During a Monday press briefing, Sanders was asked whether President Donald Trump was concerned that his son, Donald Trump Jr., held a meeting with a Russian lawyer during the campaign. In response, Sanders said, Don Jr. took a very short meeting from which there was absolutely no follow-up, before suggesting that the Democrats were actually the ones who coordinated with a foreign government. Sanders goes on to say, frankly, I think something that may make sense is looking at Democrat National Committee coordinated opposition research directly with the Ukrainian embassy. Sanders clarified her statement was not an accusation, instead stressing that it is an on-the-record action they look. Quote, so if you're looking for an example of a campaign coordinating with a foreign government or a foreign source, look no further than the DNC, who actually coordinated opposition research with the Ukrainian embassy, and no one in this room, to my knowledge, really had a big problem with that. That's going up on American Liberty Radio podcast for all of you to take a gander at. I'm giving you all of the links. I'm giving you the stories. I'm reading some of it, maybe all of it. And guess what? Well, I encourage you to go look this stuff up, because as far as I am concerned, and I want to say this because it's important to know, it's important to put this out here. It is vitally important to how do you, and I'm just going to say this, how do you, in your particular view of things, handle the truth? Because obviously this is the truth. How do you handle the truth? I ask that question with this in mind. But take this into consideration for a minute. It is what it is. You know, the mainstream media propaganda lying to us. They always have. They always will. There is no other way of looking at it. And they have the audacity to think that we're going to believe them. So take that into consideration as I ask that question. But here's something else, and I've noticed this. I don't know if you've noticed it. Did you know, did you notice that when a hit piece comes out of, let's say, the president or maybe Alex Jones or Michael Savage, when a hit piece comes out, you notice the Russians are sitting back pointing to the various characters in that scam of mainstream propaganda media saying they're lying. Look at this. Here's the facts. Have you noticed that? You didn't notice that? You know what would be a big story? You know what would be a big event? Is if Alex Jones could get President Vladimir Putin on. That would be an interesting interview. And having a split screen with Vladimir Putin and Roger Stone. Yeah, let's not gang up on President Putin. Let's ask him what he sees about America. Let's look at his, views. Hell, I even noticed that there's more freedom in Moscow than there is here in the Washington, D.C. I got to take a 2-minute break. Don't go away, folks. I'll be back. Just, hang out for a bit. Grab your coffee, because that's where I'm going to go and get mine. So I'll be back in a couple of minutes. This is American Liberty Radio Network, AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. And, check it out, folks. I'll be right back. Sharing the truth one fact at a time without all the BS. American Liberty Radio Network. AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. The reality underneath the honesty. LiveTruthRadio.com. Check out Late Night in the Midlands with your host Michael Vera at LateNightInTheMidlands.com, Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Go to LateNightInTheMidlands.com. The world as we know it has been turned upside down. The leaders are faced with possible annihilation from their enemies. The United States is at the brink of a total collapse. This is the reality we live in. What can be done? The truth, the facts. American Liberty Radio Network. AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. Hey folks, how you doing? Yeah, oh wow, almost didn't make it. Anyway, how you doing? This is American Liberty Radio Network, AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. Looking for, God, I'm still fighting this damn sinus infection, man. It's at the tail end of it, but every morning I wake up, I'm like, I'm really plugged up, I can't breathe, you know. This morning wasn't too bad, but yeah, I'm still fighting it. If you need voiceover work done, I'm your man. Contact me. Yeah, so you got stuff you want to do, you got stuff you need a voice for, right here, dude. Right there. Right there. Here's my voice. There you go. So email me, AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com, AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. Yeah, just fighting this damn sinus infection. So sorry for the sniffles because, you know, there you go. Anyway, hey, let's move on from here. I may go into overdrive again. I don't know. Buchanan alone, perhaps, but is Trump right? Has Trump read the crisis of the West correctly? Huh. Let's take a look at that. That's Pat Buchanan, former presidential candidate many moons ago. Webpage just, yeah, my browser hates me, I guess. I don't know. Buchanan.org. At the G20 in Hamburg, it is President Trump, it is said President Trump was isolated without support from the other G20 members, especially on climate change and trade. Perhaps so, but the crucial question is not whether Trump is alone, but whether he is right. Has Trump read the crisis of the West correctly? Are his warnings valid? Is not the Obama-Merkel vision of the New World Order a utopian fantasy? At the monument to the patriots of the Warsaw Uprising, Trump cited Poland as exemplar of how a great people behaves in a true national crisis. Calling the Polish people the soul of Europe, he related how, in the miracle of the Vistula, 1920, Poland, reborn after 12 decades of subjugation, drove back the invading Red Army of Leon Trotsky. It says read more. So I'm going to put that on American Liberty Radio podcast. Yeah, folks, if you need a voiceover, I'm here. Catch me in the morning. I have that morning voice right before my coffee, man. I'm telling you. Anyway. Oh, my God. He's still fighting that. Damn. What? I need a doctor to go in there and just take a massive medical hoover and just suck all that crap out of there. Anywho. I want to give it up to some people that I know, some shout-outs. And that would be Mr. Tom Slick over at Radio Rock 92.6 The Blitz, Radio Rock 92.6 The Blitz. If you're an independent author, independent musician, independent filmmaker, consider Radio Rock 92.6 The Blitz your home for everything independent. How do you like that? Yeah. Mr. Tom Slick over at the Morning Brew. Go check him out at 926theblitz.rocks. R-O-C-K-S. 926theblitz.rocks. The Morning Brew with your host, Mr. Tom Slick. And also Mr. Brian Lang over at Live Truth Radio and Television at livetruthradio.com. livetruthradio.com. Go check out Mr. Brian Lang. He talks about all this stuff too, so you'll get a different perspective on it, and that's always good because we all have, and we all do have a different perspective on everything that we see. So Mr. Brian Lang over at livetruthradio.com. Go check out a young man who is in college, in university. This young man just really knows a lot, and he's got a different perspective on it as well. And that would be Mr. John Christopher J. Man Collins over at thetruthwar.net. Thetruthwar.net. Go check him out. Tell him I sent you. Yeah. So there you go. Lots going on. Lots and lots and lots of stuff going on. Anti-Trump feminist tells companies not to insure Russian ambassador's life. Intense Russophobia has overwhelmed U.S., responds Kremlin. RT is reporting this, by the way. 11th of July, 2017. An odd tweet from an American LGBT and women's rights activists that warned Russia insurance companies not to cover the life of Russia's U.S. ambassador has prompted a robust response from the spokeswoman for the Russian Foreign Ministry. In a Facebook post, Maria Zakharova, there we go, sorry, Maria, said the tweet showed, quote, the intensity of Russophobia that has overwhelmed the United States, unquote. Quote, I do not even hope that Amy will ever learn about who Sergei Kislyak is and how much he personally has done to save Russia-America relations when the Obama administration announced its isolation crusade against Russia, unquote, the spokeswoman noted. Oh, there's more, but I want you guys to read it. American Liberty Radio podcast on Facebook. Yeah, just there is so many things in this world. There are so many things in this world that are supportive of people's, endeavors. There's just so much that people don't understand, okay? And when I see people just get down on one another and just, start railing against somebody else's common sense, I have to question their integrity and their character. I really do, because, something is definitely wrong with a person mentally if they cannot even understand the very basic concepts of peace, freedom, liberty, and security, or support other people who want it. But no, we have people here, we have the millennials, we have social justice warriors bitching and complaining about everything that is free, everything that is, peace, freedom, liberty, and security. They're complaining about that. And they don't want that. They want a communist society where everybody like me and you who have the freedom of speech to be shut down, and so that they will only have the voice of the people. By the way, remember that slogan, workers of the world unite? That's what they want. They want everybody else to shut up. They want the government to take care of them, to give them free college, to give them everything, free everything. And they want to shut down everything else that resembles peace, freedom, liberty, and security and patriotism in the United States of America. That's what they want. That is your progressive party. The Democratic Socialist and the Republican Fascist. That's your progressive party right there in the United States. Now, whether or not you like it, whether or not you want it, I mean, that's, it's there. It's there. You're not going to be able to get away from it unless you confront it and make it go away by any means necessary. Okay? The Washington Post yesterday reported things are so bad in Venezuela that people are rationing toothpaste. A tube of toothpaste cost half a week's wages. 5 years ago, when Hugo Chavez was president and Venezuela was a much different place, Anna Margarita Rangel could still afford to go to the movies and to the beach or to buy the ingredients she needed to bake cakes. Even 3 years ago, when the country's economy was beginning a severe contraction, Rangel earned enough for an occasional treat such as a soda or an ice cream. Now, she spends everything she earns to fend off hunger. Her shoes are tattered and torn, but she can't afford new ones. A tube of toothpaste costs half a week's wages. Quote, I've always loved brushing my teeth before I go to sleep. I mean, that's a rule, right? Said Rangel, who lives in a hillside slum 25 miles west of Caracas, the capital, and works in a cosmetic factory down in the suburban city of Guarenas. Now I have to choose, she said, so I do it only in the mornings. It says read more, so please, read more. I know for a fact that a lot of people will look at Venezuela and say, see, it works. No, it doesn't. Socialism, that is. That's the last article of the day, folks. American Liberty Radio podcast on Facebook. Go check out the rest of the articles that I put up there. If you would, please like, share the page, and like and share the show. Thank you. I appreciate that. Socialism, any brand of totalitarianism does not work, period. Never has, never will. And anyone that says, well, socialism works, we just have to do it a different way. No, there is no other way. Let me tell you about 4 things that work. Peace, freedom, liberty, and security. That works. Kick out all the freaking Islamic jihadist radical Muslims out of this country. Close the damn borders for at least 10 to 15 years. Get this country back on track. And somehow zero out the national debt. Don't know how you're going to do that, but we don't owe it. And who the hell do we owe it to anyway? Put everything back in the hands of the people. Tell Washington, D.C., we're done. Repeal the Federal Reserve Act. Repeal the IRS, the Internal Revenue Act. Repeal the Act of 1871. And you're going to have a country that is going to be great once more. A lot of people said, you're an isolationist. No, I'm not. I've had people tell me that in the past. You're an isolationist. No, I'm not. Let me tell you what I am. I'm a pro-immigration person. Legal immigration. Get in the back of the line, jackass, because if you want to be here in the United States, you're going to do it the right way. That's the way it is. Okay? Don't like it? Stay in your own country. I'm pro-family. Okay? I'm pro-life. I believe that the husband, wife, or the mother and the doctor should all decide whether or not, the woman needs an abortion. We need to totally abolish Planned Parenthood. There is no counseling there whatsoever. It's a fast track for women to get an abortion, period. And go back in history prior to the formation of Planned Parenthood by Margaret Sanger. She had something else before that. So go look at it. And oh, by the way, Bill Gates Sr. was 2 years ahead of Planned Parenthood. So, go check out the history. I am pro-capitalist, meaning that the entrepreneurship and the entrepreneurial ideas of America has created this country as it is. Big business, quote unquote, has come along and seen how well we've done it and see how well it has worked and literally manipulated and deceived smaller businesses that grew to hundreds of thousands, tens of, maybe $1 million company. They have come along and deceived these business owners and have literally stolen the businesses out from underneath them by bribing them to give the business over to them. Oh, no, they bought my business. No, they bribed your ass. They stole your business and screwed it up. Oh, they left you as CEO, but because of how the business was run for the next couple of years after you sold it to them, then you said, okay, I quit. It's not going the way that I want. Well, you shouldn't have sold it to them. We had, I don't know how many media corporations in this country from the 40s and 50s on up to the 2000s, I believe, or late 90s. I don't know how many we had, but now we only have about 5 or 6 that own every media outlet in the United States. I'm pro-community. Meaning that if you want something done in your community, you go do it. Don't depend on the city council. Don't depend on the county board of supervisors. They're going by the policies of the United Nations Agenda 21 or Agenda 2030, whatever the hell they call it now. That's what they're doing. Okay? The community is you. And I've always used this term, unity in the community, because that's what it is. Go look at the word community. There it is. It's right there staring you in the face. You're the community. You make things happen. Don't go to your city council. Don't go to your county board of supervisors. You make it happen. Might take you a little time, but if you're passionate about something, you're going to make it. It's going to work. Build your business. Start your landscaping business. Start your jewelry business. Start your art gallery. Hell, Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, Bill Gates, they all did their business out of their freaking garage. Why can't you? You got a room in your house you're not using? There you go. But what about the regulations and all this and all? Do your homework. Don't go to California and start a business. They're a communist state now, so stay far away from California. People are moving out of California. Businesses and individuals, they're moving out of California. They're just leaving. A lot of stuff changes over the years. A lot of things, a lot of ideas change over the years. And when I say I'm pro-community, y'all need to sit down and talk about it. You got gang members coming in and federally funded, infiltrated gang members coming into your neighborhood because the police need something to do and they're part of Homeland Security. Did you not know that? Your local law enforcement on every level is part of Homeland Security. Did you know that? They're having these gang members come in, upsetting your neighborhood. So you as a community need to come together and say, not in my backyard. And I myself personally would defy every single rule, every single law that is against me from protecting myself. Guess what? I have a Second Amendment of the Bill of Rights of the Constitution of the United States of America. I have a Second Amendment right to carry my weapon anywhere I want to go, except common sense rules in that and says don't carry it in a bank, in a school, in a don't go to DMV or anything like that. Common sense. It doesn't need to be a law. It's just common sense. Even if I didn't know it was a law, I would not walk into a bank with a gun. That's just stupid. Okay? I'd lock that puppy up in my car before going into a bank, okay? I mean, seriously. Use your head. But your community comes together and builds that community the way that you want it. And if these gang members, move into your neighborhood and ruin your neighborhood, you have a responsibility to your community. Your community has a responsibility to the city to keep that area safe. You didn't think that, did you? You didn't think about that, did you? Okay? So, yeah, I grew up in Stockton, California. There have been many, many homes, many tract homes that were built out in the south of Stockton and out in the north side of Stockton and out near Brookside and all this. Good, nice homes. I'm talking something, my folks couldn't afford. You know what I'm saying? Even if they were built when, back then. And nice homes, even out in my neighborhood or out off, out in where I used to live on the east side. Nice. I mean, we're talking nice homes, single family, single story homes. Within 5 years, the neighborhoods look like crap because people did not take care of their neighborhoods. People did not take care of their communities. Oh, new people are moving in. Oh, let's go. No. It's one of those things, folks. We have an obligation to the American people. All of us do, to each other, number one, and to the country, number two. Well, number one, the country, number two, us, to each other. And if that means we have to stand up and defend the Constitution and the Bill of Rights of the United States of America against enemies foreign and domestic, then that's exactly what we're going to have to do, because we shouldn't depend upon the military and law enforcement to do it for us. We, the community within the United States of America in every single city, we have the obligation and the responsibility to do that. Because these law enforcement people can't be in two places at once, can they? So we need to take the reins of protecting our neighborhoods and protecting our neighbors and protecting our communities and protecting our country, our home, the United States of America. We have to do that. There's no other way of looking at this. We have to do this. That's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. I don't know what else to tell you. If you are not passionate enough to take care of this country, to take care of your neighborhoods, to take care of your the people that are in your area, including your own family, there's some serious problems. You got some serious problems. But I know that you want to take care of your family. I know you want to take care of your neighborhood. I know that you want to take care of yourself, your business, and grow your business. I understand that. I completely understand it. But if you're not willing to be passionate enough to do that, to protect yourself in the same stream of thought there, then you know what? I'm sure Canada or Russia would love your citizenship. Folks, I gotta go. I'm gonna get out of here. I've probably pissed off a half a dozen or more people here. So I'm gonna get out of here, folks. I have to. Go to AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. If you want to email me at AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. And folks, this is American Liberty Radio Network on Spreaker.com, sharing the truth one fact at a time without all the BS.